And what rubs salt into the wounds is that Scott Morrison led us to this lockdown. It was his failures, vaccination, quarantine, disability care, aged care that have led us to this lockdown, and now people are being left in poverty.
Okay. Now, obviously, you know, it's in the name. It's an emergency payment to help people really stay afloat rather than being a wage replacement system. Given that's its job, to keep people afloat while lockdowns continue, does it not have some merit as a kind of, you know, skeleton payment to deal with just keeping people going until everything can reopen again?
Well, for many people it won't. I mean, take rent, for example. The average rent for a one-bedroom flat in a Melbourne is $330. Now, last time there was a lockdown, there were protections against evictions, there were rent freezes. None of those things apply. So this, for many people, won't even cover a week's rent, because we know what is happening to the rental and housing markets in our inner cities. So if it's meant to be an emergency payment to get people through, for many it simply won't do that. People are going to be, again, forced to go without some essentials because of the low level of this payment. And the other thing is, I mean, it's foreseeable that as we still grapple with this virus, we know that in the future, right now, there may be further outbreaks, and that may mean further lockdowns. And so that means we need an income support system that means no one lives in poverty in this wealthy country like ours, not just during the first wave of the pandemic, but for all future waves as well. But the Prime Minister is saying with this new scheme that in the future, if there are further lockdowns, unlike last time, you will have to live in poverty, and that is not good enough. You
are the member for Melbourne, and that does take in those towers that were locked down, obviously, last year at the beginning of that very long second lockdown. What's your understanding of the communications with those people? Are you satisfied that the government's getting that piece of the story right?
Well, not really. There's been some changes that have been made since the first lockdown, but our concern is that there's still a high level of exposure there. A lot of the issues around cleanliness and overcrowding, which were some of the justifications for the first lockdown, still persist. You still have people unable to find, you've got people of families of 6 or 7 people living in some instances 2, sometimes 3-bedroom houses or flats, and unable to move into accommodation that's the size that they need. We're concerned that there's been some exposure sites in one of the primary schools near one of the towers. I don't know yet if there's any overlap with people who live in the towers, but of course a lot of people who live in those in public housing go to that school, and so there is a risk there. The answer's got to be to, firstly, or 3 things really. Firstly, increase the amount of public housing stock that we've got, because that will reduce overcrowding. Second is make sure that there's that the blitz that has been going on, or the work that has been going on about getting people immunised in those towers, is fast-tracked, and there's been some good work there, and that really needs to be turned up. And the third thing is the community organisations that provide support to those people during that hard lockdown need to be resourced in case we find ourselves back in that situation again, so that we know that support can flow instantly.
Do you think they should, you know, be doing mobile vaccinations right outside the towers just to get everyone in those towers vaccinated?
Well, look, there has been some good testing and vaccination work that has been done. In many instances, a lot of the people, so the facilities in many instances have been there, but often what we're hearing is that the people who live in the towers don't know that it's there, and so perhaps they haven't been encouraged enough to get down and do it, and so it's probably a more concentrated variant of the bigger problems that we've been facing across Australia. So I think some more work to make sure everyone knows to come down and get vaccinated, and that's certainly something that I, as the local MP, and Alan Sandell, the state MP for the area, have been doing and will be doing over the next few days, is ensuring that everyone knows that it's safe to go and get vaccinated and that they should do it.
That's the Greens leader, Bandt. He's also the member for Melbourne.